Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of Carl's Christian Podcast. Welcome back. Today, we have a pretty good topic we will be discussing, and that is the Virginian governor elections, the 2021 elections that are coming up on November 2nd. And we have three candidates. We have the Republican candidate, Glenn Youngkin, the Democratic candidate, Terry McAuliffe, and the Libertarian candidate, Princess Blanding. Today, I'm going to be talking about their beliefs, what they support, what they don't support, and hopefully, for those of you who haven't already voted, you vote based on the person's character values and how it lines up with yours. As a Christian, you should vote on how the person's character values line up with yours. As Proverbs 29:2 says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth, the people mourn." And we can see that that's actually very true in, I guess, our real world now. When the righteous are in authority, the people are happy. Everyone's rejoicing. But when the wicked are in office, the people mourn. And yeah, so I think it's very important who you vote for. So that's why I just want to, explain what each candidate supports and what they don't support. So if you haven't already voted, you can go vote based on this video, or your research on each candidate. And yeah, let's get right into it. So right now on the screen, you probably can see the thing. It's a small poster of each candidate's stances and what they support and what they don't support. And it says, know which candidates support your values. And you have the three governors, Youngkin, McAuliffe, and Blanding. And the first question says, restore reasonable protections for women having abortion. Youngkin says yes, McAuliffe says no, and Blanding says no. So right here, Youngkin supports protections for women having abortion. He says he's pro-life and believes in some exceptions. McAuliffe doesn't support reasonable protections. He's pro-abortionist. And he believes that women should have their own choice to make their own decision for their abortion. And he has also kept open 16 Parent Parenthood clinics in his term as former Virginia governor, which is bad. And I'm just saying that. And Blanding says no, she does not support protection for women having abortion, so she's also pro-abortion as well. So for this one, McAuliffe and Blanding, they're pro-abortion. Youngkin, he is pro-life. Next one, force churches and religious schools to violate core beliefs. Youngkin says no, he won't. McAuliffe says yes, and Blanding has no response. For Blanding, I don't want her to win. I don't expect her to win. All her responses were very no or no response. So I might leave her out for the rest of the questions because she's not like really up there when it comes to she has a chance of winning. But for forcing churches and religious schools to violate core beliefs, Youngkin supports churches. Terry McAuliffe says he will force churches to violate those core beliefs, and Blanding did not respond. For protecting girls' sports, Youngkin will protect girls' sports. McAuliffe will not protect girls' sports. Blanding, still no response. For opposing critical race theory in schools, Glenn Youngkin said yes. McAuliffe said no. And Blanding said no response. Or no. No response, actually. No, she said no. Okay. I have a quote from Glenn Youngkin. He says, he will ban critical race theory. And he says people should judge people on the content of character and not on the color of their skin. For the next question, more education options for parents. Youngkin says yes. McAuliffe and Blanding both say no. So they don't want more options for education for parents. Legislative checks on governor's orders. Youngkin says yes. Democratic and Libertarian, McAuliffe and Blanding, say no. Support constitutionally permitted polygamous marriage. Youngkin says no response. McAuliffe says yes, he will support it. Blanding says no response. If you don't know what it is, it's basically, you look it up, but it's not a good thing. It's just marriage between three people, which is very wrong. It's a sin. So I feel like Youngkin should have said no, he doesn't support permitting that, but he said no response. Terry said yes. Blanding said no response. Protect public school employees. including teachers and free speech. Youngkin says yes. McAuliffe says no. Blanding says no response. Prohibit taxpayer-funded abortions. Youngkin says yes, he'll prohibit it. McAuliffe says no. Blanding says no. Oppose commercialized marijuana products. Youngkin, no response. Terry, no. Blanding, no. So from right here, you can see some of the things that they support and that they don't support. The A above the yes and no is an indication of a public statement. B is the party platform. And then you can also see the other stuff on the up there with the C indicates voting record or executive action. And yeah, those are some simple questions. So far, based on what they've said, I believe Glenn Youngkin would be the best option and choice. That is my opinion. I believe he is, and especially as a Christian, he supports more of my values. The other two, Blanding, as I said, I don't believe she has a chance. She's kind of like the third one. She wasn't even in debate. She has no chance. She doesn't support any of my values. She said no response for every single thing. McAuliffe, he also doesn't support any of my values. He says no response to every single thing. And yeah, Youngkin's obviously, in my opinion, he's the best option. I also have a few other questions with some of the things that were brought up in the governor debate between Youngkin and McAuliffe that I watched. I wrote down a few of the quotes they said, a few of the questions, so I just want to read those out real quick. So starting off with the first question, Governor Ralph Northam signed something called the Clean Economy Act, and that's basically the bill that establishes requirements to reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Specifically, the bill sets a national goal of achieving a 100% clean economy, net zero greenhouse gas emissions by no later than 2050. Each federal agency must develop and implement a plan to rapidly achieve the national goal. So basically, they want to get rid of anything that's like gas emissions. You can look it up yourself, but I'm just going to read the candidates' responses. Glenn Youngkin's response was no. We can bring down emissions without putting down a plan that not even utility executives think is durable. He said it would increase Virginians' bills by $1,000 and put the energy grid at risk just for political purposes. Terry's response was would have signed it and made it go into effect in 2035. And he said when he thinks of the Clean Economy Act, he thinks of jobs. But in order to do that, he needs people to get vaccinated. Now, I don't know what vaccination has to do with signing this bill because it's two separate things. But a lot of what Terry said in his debate was he would mandatory vaccines. He brought up vaccines in like every single question. And he said, I like how he says he would force. He says women have a choice whether or not to have abortion or not. Yet he says he will force people to get vaccinated. Does that make sense? Does that line up? No, not really. The next one, obviously, is abortion. Glenn Youngkin's pro-life. He believes in exceptions in some cases. Terry believes women should have the right to make their own decisions, supports abortions, and has kept 16 parenthood clinics open, which I don't agree with as well. And when it comes to mandatory vaccination, Glenn Youngkin, strong advocate for everyone to get the vaccines, but he believes individuals should make their own decision, and he would challenge Biden's authority to mandate the vaccine in court. And Terry supports mandatory vaccinations for everyone, and he says it's required for COVID to go away because COVID has not gone away yet. And yeah, when it comes to which candidate you should vote for, I believe that it's very important to vote based on your character, your values, and as a Christian, it's very important to vote on which ones line up more with what God wants. And I can't vote, but that's just my advice for you to vote for someone whose values match up with yours. As a Christian, I would say Glenn Youngkin. I would say Glenn Youngkin because he's better than the other two candidates that are running. But yeah, anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. This election is going to be very important as the governor will, it could change a lot of things, whoever's elected, whether it's good or bad. And anyways, hope you have enjoyed episode 7 of Carl's Christian Podcast. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel or new to the podcast. Leave a comment telling me what you thought about today's episode. And we will see you all in episode 8 of Carl's Christian Podcast. Have a blessed day and go vote. # Virginia Elections 2021.